Alright, let me just check that we're all set up. It looks good. Are you ready, William? Are you all microphoned in?
I think we're here, live and present, all accounted for.
This is the second time we've done this podcast, so thank you for coming back. The first time, the file just broke, so I apologise, but
Round two.
We're here better than ever.
Better ideas.
It's trying times, and
yeah.
We're here with important information in important times. It's crucial information in crucial times.
Gotta make sure people are doing okay.
And I need a little bit of your help because times are changing. Do not... William, I've already made you antibacterial your hands on the way in. Do not cough.
Sorry.
If you,
Social distancing.
I know. I'm gonna be so angry.
Okay.
If you give me the corona. Okay.
The corona.
If I get the rona.
There's 2 meters. Don't worry, we'll find.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, that's it. I'm done.
We're pushing it right now.
I'm done.
All right. I've got my top 4 tips for staying healthy, fit, and strong during isolation. There's been changes as well. I'm basically in isolation right now.
Really?
The only place I went was the gym. I'm deadly serious.
And now that's not an option.
Yeah, and now that's not an option, which is one of the things I needed your help with on today's podcast, because I've got my top 4 tips. Quick rundown. The first one is nutrition. I'm a nutritionist, obviously, but that is the number 1 tool, whether people like it or not. That is not my bias. That is just the way it is. Number 2, keeping activity levels up. But I'm going to talk about step count and outside and advantages of this. Number 3, home workouts. That's what I want your help with. That is not my area. I've brought in the personal trainer again. So I don't know what we're going to do. What have you got in your magical bag of tricks back there? Did you bring any resistance bands or anything like
I brought all the resistance bands.
Did you really? Because I actually legitimately have questions for you on this.
Yeah, and hopefully it's the kind of thing that, so far what the government said, a month, it could be more, it could be less on gyms have been shut or open, but they're so cheap and they're so versatile with what you can do.
Are they sold out on Amazon, do you know?
I don't know.
I checked earlier and there's some available, but I legitimately...
Be worth jumping on top.
I legitimately don't know which ones are best. I don't know which... There's short ones that we've talked about for glutes that go around the legs. There's long ones that are just a string. There's like these ones that have got handles on. There's ones that are a long loop. I want to see what you've got in your bag of tricks.
We'll get there. We should probably move the table so we've got a bit of space to do things. More room for activities.
You always do this every time. You always start standing. We can never just sit and talk.
No, we can't just sit still, Connor.
I mean, all right, we can move the table if you want.
Where do you want to put it? Because we're going to need to. We're going to need space for activities.
All right, I'll edit this out.
We'll edit this out.
We can move the table.
We all know Connor.
We can move the table if you. I'll just cut it so that the video's not taking too long.
Okay. Which way are we going?
That way over there.
Over here.
Are you deadly serious? Put the table down. Okay. Put the table down.
What?
I'm standing on the wires. You're giving me anxiety, Will.
I'm giving you corona.
Will, you better. Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right. All right. I'll show you what we're gonna do. All right. I'm gonna edit all this out anyway, Will. So let's just start again. Are you ready?
Yeah.
William, thank you for coming back. This is the second time we've done this podcast now. I apologise about the file. That was my fault last time that we've had to redo this podcast. So thank you for coming down.
Yeah, cool. I'm here. Let's talk. Why am I facing the wall, Connor?
Well, just go with the podcast. You're already making this too awkward. You're making it more awkward than it has to be. Just go with it, okay? Thank you for coming down, Will. It's really nice to see you again. Thank you so much. It's different times, so we have to take precautionary measures, don't we? We're on social distancing, so that's why we're facing the wrong direction, but it's okay, we can make it work. You've got a little bit of space at your end, I assume, to give us some demonstrations.
Yes, at my end of the antisocial room. I'm all good. I'm all gravy.
All right, excellent. Because I've got my top 4 tips for keeping people fit, healthy, strong.
I feel like we've been here before.
What? Sorry.
I feel like we've been here before.
Well, we have done this. We are doing this podcast for the second time, so that does make sense.
This is the third now.
I've got my top 4 tips for keeping people fit, healthy and strong. My first one is nutrition. My second one is step count and keeping activity levels up. My third one is what I want your help with, Will. It's home workouts. This is not my area of expertise, so I have brought in the expert PT.
Yay. To talk to the wall. Yes!
Right.
I don't like this, Connor. This is not professional.
I'm trying to show on the camera, Will, that we're actually trying to make changes and I don't even know. Put in some effort for the social distancing while still giving people some good information with hopefully some entertainment, and you're making this more awkward than it has to be. I'm just trying to go through...
What if I just don't cough in your face?
Alright, fine. I'll show you what we'll do.
I'm ready!
It's crucial times. We've come to give crucial information. I reckon this is 2 meters on the old social distancing.
I've measured
my
it.
old pal.
I've measured it.
Hello from over there.
Kiwi!
Thank you for coming back down again.
Thank you for having me.
Second time we've done this podcast now.
Let's try again, eh?
Because last time we did come down, we filmed this entire podcast for 1 hour, 25 minutes. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more concise this time.
It's probably better as well.
But we went through the whole entire shebang, and then it was my fault, and I apologise that the file just corrupted.
What are you going to do?
Somehow, I just broke it. I'm not the best with computers.
No.
No, I'm a nutritionist. Trying to set up this whole podcasting business, which is an important thing at this minute in time, doesn't it?
You've got the decor nice. It's very homely.
Thank you, sir.
And leafy.
There's been lots of changes in the world, isn't it? And podcasts are on it now.
Yeah.
Online's what we've got left.
That's it.
Online's where we are.
The ether.
Yeah. Big changes for you. Gyms.
Yeah, well, this is it, actually. It's interesting. It's not better that the other podcast didn't work, but it's interesting now that we're redoing it after gyms are actually shut. Like before, we were recommending advice to people at home because a lot of people were at home. Now you ain't got a choice, boy.
That's true, actually.
Everybody's at home.
Yeah, that's actually true.
We're all at home. We're under much different circumstances now versus when was it Tuesday we did it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's interesting.
All right.
A little bit more necessity behind the podcast now.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Times are changing. Online's where we're at now really for everyone, and we're all at home. It's a little bit of isolation, isn't it? I'm self-isolated now because the only place I went was the gym.
Except for me coming in.
That's no, I'm not ill or anything like that, but I just I work from home already. Already, and I've been hitting my members with top tips from working at home. We've got physiotherapists in our 6 Steps to Slim group.
Oh, lovely.
Yep. Greg Roberts posted the great and powerful, the one and only.
He is.
Excuse me.
Was that
Posted
nearly a cough?
No, it was a little bit of a issue with the water I just drank while trying to talk at the same time, trying to up and down the old pipes. Greg posted a video into my group about neck stretches and
nice.
chest stretches. You know, if we're just working at home and times are changing and we're not out and about as much, so we've come to give. I've come to give, and I'd like your support, if and you so would please, sir.
It pleases.
On my...
It pleases he.
Thank you, Squire. My top 4 tips on staying fit, healthy, strong, maintaining health, if not improving health.
Potentially for some people.
Health, yeah. And staying active, staying motivated, staying together. My top 4 tips for all this during isolation, especially now with, like you said, gyms shutting down. I'll give my quick rundown of the 4, and then we're going to run through them, just so you've got a feel of what we're going to talk about on the podcast, if that's okay.
Of course.
So my first one's going to be nutrition, and not through my bias, it's just because it is our actual number 1 tool at this time.
Of course, yeah.
For maintaining the work we've done, including our health or improving health. Now that gym environments are not available, nutrition's always number 1. And I've been preaching nutrition as number 1 right from the start, so my members have been doing the right thing already, which I'm super proud of. Number 2 is going to be step count and activity levels, keeping those up, keeping those strong, all the advantages around that for mental health and physical health. And then the third one, which I want your help with, is going to be home workouts. Not my area of expertise, so I've brought in the expert PT. You've got a magical bag of tricks down there. With a resistance band or 9. It looks like, and I have real questions about this because we're all training from home now. I've been trying to buy exercise equipment. and it's all
Gone.
sold out.
Gone.
I know.
Try again.
In about 2 weeks, it's all going to be on Facebook Marketplace.
When
no
people
one's
have gone,
done
you know what, I didn't like
anything
training when I
about
could
it.
have gone to the gym. I don't like it at home either.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially if they watch this and actually figure out how to train and do something good with it. They'll try it once and go, oh, that hurt. I'll do it again.
All the exercise equipment's going to be 14 pence on Facebook Marketplace.
I'll be there for that.
3 weeks.
I'm there for that.
I need to be, because I'm trying to get dumbbells for home.
Fit power rack in here, you reckon?
No, yeah, I agree. If anybody wants to donate us or sell us some dumbbells, I'm deadly serious. We can do home exercise workout videos and better demonstrations, etc.,
This could
etc.
work, yeah.
I will be on it. I'll demonstrate. But I just can't get any. I just seriously can't get any. But anyway, times are changing, so we have to do some home workouts. I want to know from you, just so you've got a feel of where I'm going to go with it. Couple of exercises for each muscle group, so we can do a nice, well-rounded workout. Okay, and then, in my opinion, progression is going to be a difficult thing in keeping our strength up when we've got minimum equipment.
I'll talk about how to approach that.
Yeah, so how can we make it work with minimum equipment? Resistance bands, if I'm right, and I looked earlier today, are not sold out on Amazon. I don't know about all different types because I'm not an elastic man. I'm not really that up to date.
You're pretty bendy.
I'm not too bad. That's one thing you can keep up with at home, isn't it?
Yeah, of
Yoga and
course.
Flexibility.
Oh, this is my goal. I'm thinking splits in a month.
Is it really? Splits in a month?
Maybe.
Your flexibility is not bad. What do you think?
It's okay. Statically, I'm not that flexible. I'm quite mobile at I'm good at what I do, so squats. But I'm not the best at static flexibility.
Okay, so something quite easy to work on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
things for me to work on as well, because it's the kind of thing that's just the 5% extra in the gym, and when you've already battered legs, you're like, okay, I'm going home. I'm not doing that. But now that I can't particularly batter legs as much, or with the same stimulus, I've got more time to do other things.
Yeah. You'll find great benefits you're more of a heavy weightlifter, aren't you?
I mean, heavy is a relative term. It's heavy for me.
It's heavy for me.
It wouldn't be heavy for...
No, it is. It's heavy for just people. It's heavy. You're a heavy weightlifter, but you'll see great benefits, from yoga and stuff like this.
Oh, of course,
From the inside the joints, and I feel like it strengthens all the connective tissues and bits in between the normal paths of motion that you do in the gym and the normal ranges of motion that we go through with joints and muscles, and all the different angles that things might be getting hit from.
Yeah.
Rather than just always training
It's
squats
less
in a
mechanical
static
and more
position,
human, isn't it? Yeah.
for sort of trying to stand on the wire like this, always in this static position.
It's a very nice
With yoga, there's a lot of sort of these things, strengthening on the insides of the knees, etc., etc. And like you said about splits and stuff, when you're in this position.
Oh yeah, not
Lots of
the
stress
box
on the
splits.
inside
I'm
of
talking
it.
banana splits. I'll never do the box splits.
What do you mean? Is that front and back?
That's front and back.
Yeah, I would say that one is easier. I'm probably about
You
that
need
far off
something
with a
anatomically not wrong but unusual with your hips to be able to actually do the box splits. It's a genetic thing.
Is that true?
Yeah. It's like I think it's retroversion you need in your hips, which is a slightly wider angle of the ball and socket joint to physically be able to do that. Otherwise, you won't snap your shit up. I could get very flexible in that position, but I'd probably be limited with my just simple mechanics as to getting there. Whereas the banana splits...
I bet you could get 80% there.
Ooh, challenge accepted.
Do you not?
Yeah, probably.
I do.
I could get there.
Wide legs is one of my worst flexibilities, only because I find it...
The technical term.
Yes.
Wide legs.
As always.
What were you saying last time?
You know me.
Sidey-sideys.
Yes.
For lat raises.
You know me.
Yeah.
For the side leg raises.
That was it, yeah. Terrible.
Just because it's awkward to stretch in that position.
I agree, yeah.
I've been sometimes...
Shit hurts.
I've been sometimes up against the wall, upside down.
Oh, yeah.
With my legs full spread in the air on my mobile phone until I drop it onto my face. I've done that before. Or you've got to... Ooh, careful with this wire. You've got to just hold that wide leg splits position, and it's just painful on the groin.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just...
It's uncomfortable. It gives you enough time to think, why am I doing this? And then not do it.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
I stay on it anyway. I just find that one of the most painful and awkward. So I put less time into it, so I'm less flexible in that position. It's got nothing to do with my hip socket excuses. That's not real.
It's just my excuses are real.
I'm sure they are.
I'll keep harping on them.
You can have whatever you want in your reality, sir, and I'm not here to shoot that down.
I can keep bullshitting myself. Yeah, it's true.
I'm not here to stop you.
Right. So what's the first point? What are we touching on first?
And my fourth one. I'm sorry. I'm just going to do my conclusion. I'm really sorry. Sorry to interrupt slightly. That's rude. But my fourth one is going to be social and online support, like people are doing now, getting motivation online, getting education online, getting information and coaching online, getting positivity online.
Offering my stuff as of this morning online.
What do you mean?
So it was what I was telling you about uploading earlier. I haven't put it up yet, but I just did a video this morning underlying, I guess it'll be a capped version of what we're going to talk about on Instagram, and then just banging out videos just as much as possible and trying to get them shared as much as possible, get them to as many people as much as possible. Just
spread positivity,
just
spread
information.
Motivation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. People have the energy and the time now to do these things, and probably the want as well, but not necessarily the education. So that's what I'll try and provide.
That is really nice. Yeah, my 6 Steps to Slim members have been commenting that they're finding the group and online social support and our online community even more useful than ever now for motivation and positivity and information and sharing and just community and learning as well, not only about health and fitness and nutrition, but also about what's going on, because we have lots of doctors, nurses, people with different perspectives, like I said, physiotherapists, personal trainers, nutritionists, midwives, just everyone from, so lots of nice information sharing about how people are feeling as well, a nice open safe space as well, for people to talk about any worries, and I'm strongly encouraging that to any of my members and anybody who wants to reach out, really, just to try and talk to me a little bit more about something, about some positivity and about some motivation and about what we can do, not what we can't do. For once,
That's very true.
I've also been hammering videos.
Good man.
Online, not so much on my Slim Society public Facebook page, which is probably where people will be finding this through right now, but to my actual 6 Steps to Slim members,
Well, that makes sense. That's
and just posting just information and motivation just to keep people on track, and it's just really, really important. So that's going to be my 4th tip. So my first one for people, if anybody's writing this down, and what we're going to go through is nutrition.
It should be, yeah.
It's nutrition, yeah. It's keeping people on top with the nutrition. And again, my program's called 6 Steps to Slim, and the first step is nutrition, and some of what it encompasses, not all, but some of what it encompasses. And my second step to Slim has always been movement, with nutrition being a slightly more non-tangible. Like if you hurt your leg, you might not be able to exercise. If the gym shuts, you might not be able to exercise.
Oh, but nutrition's always available.
Mostly, yeah, to most people at most times. Even now, there's food shortages and stuff like that. There's shortages on some foods which I do not understand. I'll be perfectly honest. I don't know where the bread's gone.
Oh God, it's just disappeared.
Why have people suddenly decided they need way more bread?
Yeah, or anything for that matter.
I don't.
When have we ever, as a nation, ran out of everything? If everyone just kept their head on top of their shoulders and remained cool and calm, we'd be all gravy.
I understand people keeping in some foods, because if you get isolated or if you get ill, then you need to have some food in. So that's okay and a good idea. But what bread doesn't save?
No.
Where's it gone?
No. You've got a week out of bread, max.
Yeah, max, and that's good if you can get a week out of it.
And that's me tearing the mould off the corners because I'm a grimy bastard.
Stop it! Stop it! But it might come to that. It might come to that.
It might just come to eating the mouldy bread.
The bread's sold out, but do you know what isn't? Hot cross buns. Poached eggs in the morning's about to get interesting. But I honestly, I don't know why people need more bread, or unless they're putting it in the freezer, but then it takes up loads of space. How much freezer space have you got?
That's it's gonna nicely battle the current wave of ketosis that seems to be going through the world.
And everybody's gluten intolerance that they forgot about. And all the milk's gone.
Has it?
Look, a lot of the milk is sold out in a lot of places. People have forgot about lactose intolerance. Is a real thing. This is why people need the toilet roll. Because they were having gluten intolerance, dairy and lactose intolerance.
Same guy came running back in later.
So
clenching, grabs toilet paper.
It all makes sense now. It all makes
Society.
sense. Come on. But keeping nutrition, you know, one thing that's not sold out, and I'm really happy to see this, and my members have been doing extraordinarily well with this, is like shitty junk foods. You know, if you go to supermarkets, you can still get like massive packs of just like chocolate and stuff, and I'm just glad people aren't buying this. At this minute in time, I am changing my stance. Oh, but Connor, you always preach like balanced eating and that you can eat anything that you want and still lose weight. Yes, I always did.
Here and now.
Yes, I always did. Okay.
Don't be a
yes,
dick.
I've never ever recommended to anybody that you should just eat crap and lose weight.
Yeah.
I just said technically it's possible, which it is. I never said you should.
Technically,
do
it's
that.
possible. I don't advise it.
Yeah, no, I don't advise it. I don't advise you eat crap just because you can. And now, at this time, especially, what's number one tool that we've got? Nutrition. Whether you care about fitness or not, or muscle or not, or running or not, or gym or not, health is number one right now. Illnesses are going round. All the normal illnesses are going round. And then we've got this COVID-19 on the float, haven't we? We've got a little touch of the vid going round. So we need to stay healthy and strong, because if we're going to be catching this, at the minute, they are finding, and it is very positive, and I'm blasting out tons of positive information on my Slim Society Facebook page and into my 6 Steps to Slim members group as well, blasting out tons of information on positive things that are happening, like they are finding drugs that help people recover, antiviruses and antibodies are coming through very quickly, and so are testing kits for home and for home testing kits, and doctors are getting tested and all kinds. So it's good. It's good. The curves of infection are flattening in countries, and it's hitting us here later in the UK, which is excellent because we can learn from other places. South Korea have flattened the curve.
Have they?
Yes. China have stopped new infections. There's been 2 days. I've not checked today. I'm trying not to check the news.
No new cases
too
in the
much
last 2 days.
In the last 2 days, I've not checked today because I'm trying not to check the news too much. I made a video about this
Get morbid,
yesterday.
can't you?
Yeah, it becomes way too much.
Yeah.
But for the last 2 days, there's been no cases there. Italy's exponential curve is slowing down. It's not shooting up more and more. It's still going on, but it's slowing on. if that makes sense.
Yes.
So there are positives coming through, and I'm keeping.
This is it. We've got to roll with the punches, ride it for now, and control the controllables. That's literally
the one,
a sum up of everything you can do.
And at the minute, with pharmaceuticals not being the way to recovery, it's kind of like, it's not a cold or flu, but it's kind of like a cold or flu in the way that you've got to recover from it yourself.
Yeah, your immune system is the only thing really that can do anything. So all you can do is try and boost that as much as possible, which isn't going to happen with any potions or medicines or anything. So nutrition, movement, low fat, high protein, good, well-rounded nutrition, a plant-based diet. These kind of things are going to be your best option.
Yeah, these are what we're going to talk
about. And again,
about.
controlling the controllables.
I'd like to be a little bit picky on your language, not to be a bit of a dick.
That guy.
Sorry, I know, yeah.
But you're going to be.
I just don't like the word boost. You know.
Oh no.
Because
you can't.
I know. I'm sorry. I know that you know as well.
It's a marketing term.
It's just for people at home. You can't technically boost the immune system. No, you can only make it as strong as it should be. Yeah, it should be a good level of maximal strength anyway, and then it's only down from there. There's no creating like a supreme immune system or 120% super strong immune system. You can just get it to where it should be, and then it's good. But you are right. For keeping the immune system up and strong, nutrition's number one. First top tip from me, for listeners at home and for you, young William, keep yourself safe and healthy, please, is not too many or too few calories. Yeah. Too many calories puts stress. It's got gastric load, is one of the things it's termed, stress on the stomach, but that puts stress on your body as well. Yes, in the past, like I was saying earlier, it's just a little bit of overeating, and it's not any major deal. But right now, it's just a little bit more of a deal. And I just want people's bodies to be able to fight off anything at all and just be as in a good position as possible. Too many calories is putting stress on the body, and if you've got health or fitness or fat loss goals in any way, which all of us should at this minute in time, but if you do, which people do because they're listening to this podcast with us.
Hi.
So I know that you do. Then it's important just to do what we can, like you said, isn't it? So too many calories is putting stress on the body and mind, because if you're eating too much, then that's going to stress you out. And literally mental stress suppresses the immune system if it gets too bad.
Really?
Yeah, your mental health and physical health are just so linked. It's not even really correct to think of the mind and the
They've been
body as
separate.
separate things. Yeah, they're one thing, or kind of. They're kind of separate, but
I
kind
don't
of.
know why.
the
Yeah,
same.
it's interesting why we would split that up just in our heads, but it isn't really here. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, also a calorie deficit is perhaps not the best time to be looking at this.
Depends for you personally in your situation.
Well, yeah, I mean, if
someone's
your
overweight-
morbid obesity
Yeah, if
is
someone-
outweighing the fact that corona's around because you're already in isolation,
Yeah.
maybe.
Like I have seen some statistics, and they are constantly changing. But do you know that 30%-ish of everybody that's been admitted to hospital with COVID-19 has high blood pressure before they get it? 12% of everybody that gets admitted to hospital has type 2 diabetes.
Cracky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these pre-existing health issues and underlying health issues,
a detriment. Yeah.
are a detriment. So for some people, not a huge. So no stupid juice diets. I'm gonna swear. Fuck that shit. I don't even care. No sort of
That'll make me cry.
crash diets. What? No,
First of all, at any time.
yeah, at any time.
At any time, don't be stupid about these
Yes,
things.
okay, good.
But now more than ever.
But now, yeah, thank you. But now more than ever, yeah.
Fucking hell.
What else? Like supplement-only diets, don't be doing this. Low variety diets, don't be doing this. Super low-calorie, ultra-restricted diets, don't be doing this.
Everything, it just needs a lick of common sense, doesn't it? Everything, just zoom out, look with a bit of perspective and think, well, look, what's best in any situation is a well-rounded approach and a calculated one at that. So yeah, good nutrition, if you can control it, that's going to be your number one thing. As much of it as you can from actual food is going to be the second thing to that. And then, like it's in the name, supplement if you need to, but don't replace.
Yeah, and supplements now are also playing a little bit of an important... Well, they always play a slightly important role.
For things that are just impractical to smash, like if you can't afford salmon all the time or something,
Or you
an
just don't like
omega-3
it.
an omega-3 is going to be a good time. If you...
Vitamin D.
Vitamin D, because we're in chuffing inside and in England. That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, double trouble.
Exactly, so that's
Isn't
not
it?
good. If you're more in my world, things like creatine, how cheap it is to buy a year's worth of creatine versus the amount of steaks you'd have to buy to get a similar amount of
Yeah, and
effect.
that would be for muscle retention,
Exactly,
strength
and strength and
retention.
stuff like
That's a really
this.
nice point. Yes,
Yeah.
on creatine.
So I'm
that's
just
a really nice
from a
point.
different point of view, because
Yeah.
that's the kind of perspective that I bring, coming from that more weightlifting, muscle building, progression side of life, is that obviously we're talking more or less at the minute about the goals and people's rationale at home to be maintain their weight or lose a bit of weight and perhaps even get stronger if they can. Whereas if you're coming from an environment like the gym, you're already very conditioned, you're say 2 or 3 years into your training, say like you are, you're going to struggle to get stronger and put on muscle at home because of how much of a machine you already are.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Of course, the stimulus that you need, it sits in the gym and it weighs 38 kilos.
Okay.
It's the biggest dumbbells there, you know, it's
understand.
not this.
I understand.
So, but if you take someone that's just really unconditioned and isn't good at this kind of stuff yet, then this might be enough stimulus for them to actually do something and elicit some actual results from.
Good. Or at least we can maintain and we can try
Or
our
at least
best.
maintain, yeah, which is probably what you'd be looking to do.
Oh yeah, I can maintain.
Yeah.
I can maintain.
I mean, your
with
arms,
a little bit of help.
you
from
could probably maintain your legs, you could definitely progress your arms, they're pretty small.
I'm going to be. I could progress my arms.
You
with
could
that
progress
little
your
band,
arms.
I bet.
You could progress your arms.
These
or-
little old puppies.
Where do your wrists end, just out of... Somewhere up near your armpit, yeah?
Oh, I've got nothing. I've just been.
Except
wrists.
wrists.
I've just. Okay.
Alright, I'm done with that now, you can keep...
Just take. No, it's okay. I'm just going to edit that out. So you're not going to.
We've done enough of this today.
No, you're not going to look funny on the final edit. 'Cause I'm just going to cut that joke completely out just to save my self-respect. I'm just going to cut that section out. You're just going to get no time of me. So, and we're back. Thank you. I'll just cut to an advert.
To our regularly scheduled programme.
I'll just cut to an advert, and we're back. But you're exactly right. So, if it's okay with you, I'll just run through my top nutrition tips quickly.
Please do. I could stand to learn.
before we start going on and on and on. But my top one, like you just elaborated on, thank you very much, is not too many or too few calories. If you're in good shape already, understanding how your metabolism works, how much food you require, and what your good nutrition requirements are, with a little bit of education, that'd be excellent. And then getting the calories in a nice balanced level. This puts minimum stress on your body and mind. You're feeding your body what you actually require, which is excellent. If somebody is more overweight or does have some underlying health issues and does want to improve their health, this is an excellent time. But just not crash diets.
No.
Healthy, balanced, better diets bring the weight down while improving nutrition and
focusing
health.
on longevity and adherence and doing it for a period of time, not just
focusing on health, not
Yeah.
just crashing it down. That's not going to help. Trying to build the health up, not like burn somebody into the ground while we're dieting. My second tip is high protein intake. Protein intake is a primary building block of the immune system. It's almost a primary building block of everything. Nearly everything in your body.
Yeah.
It's
very efficient source.
It's kind of like there's bricks inside this wall, sort of thing, inside the walls, and then
like that.
when you eat the protein, when you get protein of any kind, it's kind of like this wall, and then you chew it and break it down into its smaller components, the bricks, amino acids, and then you reuse those bricks to build things. It'd be difficult to just build another house out of an already made wall, but you break it down into its smaller prerequisite compartments and components, and then use those amino acids or bricks to then rebuild things in your body, including your immune system, and it helps regulate your hormonal profile. It helps keep you fuller for longer, which will help keep snacking down and cravings down and thoughts of just food all the time when you're stuck inside down and all this kind of business. It helps keep metabolism up. It's a primary muscle mass retainer, isn't it?
Oh yeah. It's all there is for that, really.
So I would recommend very good and high protein intakes. I'm going to be producing some content on protein intakes going forward for my public page. My members already know it. It's already built into the 6 Steps to Slim lecture system, all about protein
Very
intakes,
nice.
how to get them, where to get them, how much to get. But I'm going to be trickling out a little bit of information on that for people as well, rather than going into it all in depth on my Slim Society Facebook page. So follow there and stay up to date if you so would please. It's for your health and good. Thanking you. Protein intakes then, keep those rocking. And then next tip is high fruit and vegetable intake, which these things are always good at all times, aren't they? What I'm just describing is just a healthy, balanced diet. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're a vegan, a vegetarian, an omnivore, a meat eater, a fussy eater, or any of these things. It doesn't matter where the nutrition comes from.
As long as the macros and the micronutrients
are and the
equated.
Calories overall, as long as the
and
nutrition is coming in, that's nice. That's absolutely excellent, and that's what we want. And then whatever makes your tummy and mind and morals feel good, that's where you and your bank account. That's where you should be with your foods then.
Perfect
as long as
summary.
we're getting that, as long as we're getting that nutrition.
Perfect summary on how to choose a diet.
Thank you. This is what I try and teach people how to do, and then I try and help them find ways of just improving their own diets to just keep them healthy and strong without feeling too restricted or like they're missing out. It's pretty simple, to be honest. But anyway, keeping fruit and vegetables rocking keeps you fuller for longer, helps keep that weight down. Fiber's super good for your health as well. Gut health. So fiber's super good for gut health, and 70% of your immune system is stored in the guts. Mess your guts up, mess your immune system up. Not the best. A large part of your happiness hormones, etc., as well, are also stored in your gut. So it's literally, it's literally eat shit, feel shit, eat good, feel good. That's literally it. If you disrupt your guts, you disrupt your serotonin, dopamine, happiness hormone systems.
Didn't know this.
Yep. All this is to do with your gut bacteria and stuff like this. So if
that.
Eat good, healthy, fibrous diets with good variety and stuff like this, and keeps your guts healthy, keeps your mind healthy, because you know you're doing the right things and doing everything you can, and then your body's healthy, your mind's healthy. We're using less toilet roll. We've got good fibres. We're on those fibre gains. We're using less toilet roll, which is good. And also an analogy that I like to use is kind of like I said, the protein intake's the building blocks for your immune system. The protein, it's kind of, your immune system's kind of like an army. It's kind of like you've got little soldiers inside you, and you've got lots of different soldiers to attack and do lots of different things. I used this analogy on the other podcast, didn't I? I like to use
It's good.
Well, just to use the same word again, just analogies, just to try and get things across in an understandable
drives it
manner.
home. Gives you something to remember,
Try to put it in a way that's just a little
relatable,
bit more. Yeah, relatable is a nice word. Thank you. So with your immune system, you've got soldiers, and you need a variety of different ones. So you need to get a good protein intake because there's a variety of different proteins and amino acids. The different bricks. Like if you're going to build a house if you're going to break down a house and then rebuild one, you need a lot of different things, don't you? You don't just need bricks. That's like one amino acid. You also need some rafters. That's another amino acid. You need some flooring, don't you? That's
your extent
another,
of building knowledge.
Yeah, so you need a variety of different proteins and amino acids to build your army. And then the vitamins and minerals, they do the smaller things in your body. They help build the hormones, they help build the immune system, etc., etc. They're equipping your soldiers with weapons. They're the little
cladding.
Literally you said micronutrients. Micro means small, nutrient means nutrient. I don't technically know, I suppose. I don't technically
You don't know anything, Connor.
I don't technically know what the dictionary definition of nutrient would be. Something that nourishes the body.
So it's got to break down into something.
I don't know what the etymology of the word would be, so unfortunately. But
don't know.
Anyway,
Moving on.
Back on track. Vitamin and mineral intakes, rocking is a fantastic idea at this minute in time. Vitamin and mineral deficiencies are putting stress on your body. We don't know all inclusively and all encompassing what any of the entire vitamin and mineral spectrum does. You know, out of all the different vitamins and minerals, we don't know the full story of what any of them do.
Yeah, you've said that before. Yeah, it's interesting. What did you say, like 20%?
That's just kind of my estimate, yeah, but there's a lot more to discover about every single vitamin and mineral. So you'll see a lot online about, get good zinc to help keep your immune system strong.
And then people just jump on a zinc diet.
Yeah, yes, the zinc diet's going mad on Amazon. Or selenium helps your...
Keto zinc.
Yeah, exactly. People saying keto as well. Technically,
keto is fashionable right now, isn't it? Especially the human body, I don't know if you knew, has evolved in the last 3 years to respond far better to the ketos. I can't even say it with a straight face.
It's got another little chip in its, or another little notch in its belt as well, or its bedpost even, keto, with now technically viruses sort of run on sugar in glycolytic atmospheres, so then people are
ketocytes.
Are
immune.
Immune. But they're professing to be. Of course they are. They're professing to be keeping their immune system stronger by keeping sugar down, and that's not the way it works. Because people's blood sugar management just keeps it in a correct balance anyway, unless, what did I say earlier, diabetics.
There you go.
There you go.
And that's why.
Too high blood.
12%.
Well, I don't know if that's directly why. I can't say that, but that
and other contributing factors.
That just makes sense to me. That's just where I'm.
That and other contributing factors like poor lifestyle and just generally bad health and stuff. Yeah.
So if people are wanting to get on it, now is a fantastic time. It's as good of a time as ever to be healthy, fit, and strong, and using nutrition is there. So not too many or too few calories. If you're looking to lose weight to improve health, that's fantastic. But let's just go for a small reduction in calories or an easy, nice, steady diet so that we're staying healthier and we're feeling better as we're going forward. Good protein intakes, rocking those. I don't care if you're a vegan, a vegetarian, an omnivore. I don't care what you are or who you are. Get that rocking protein intake. And then good fruit and vegetables always. Trying to keep the guts healthy and strong and in a good position, and to get those vitamins and minerals, those micronutrients, like you referred to it as, those mini tiny nutrients, equipping the soldiers with what they need inside your immune system to defeat the enemy, if it so appears. And then, like you said, I suppose the last one would be supplements. Vitamin D is correlated with better levels and success with everything. I saw a study saying that people who had better vitamin D levels had 50% less chance of catching and experiencing complications from respiratory infections, of which the vid is one. So I have been recommending all of my members, and I've got my mother for Mother's Day, vitamin D. I'm deadly serious, 2,000 IU per day. I am not sponsored by this. Everyone should go to Amazon. You should buy that shit. Everybody should have done this ages ago. All my members already knew. They were already on it. It shows reduced rates of depression, increased fat loss, better muscle mass retention, better hormonal profiles, just everything. Vitamin D is not technically a vitamin, it's a hormone. If you are vitamin D deficient, then you're hormonally deficient, and this impacts almost every single cell in your entire body.
Very interesting.
Yep, there's only two
There's
only two things that nearly every cell in your entire body has a receptor for. One of them's T3, it's your thyroid hormone, because that sort of gives the cell a little bit of energy. It's like its little engine to run. The other one's vitamin D. So if you're vitamin D deficient, there isn't a single system in your entire body that functions correctly. What about your immune system? Yes. What about Yes. Oh, but Connor, what about this and that as well? Yeah. Well, what about all of them? Just every single thing will be impacted slightly, and that will manifest. Usually, what it's shown is genetically and wherever your weak link is. And we just don't need just battered immune systems right now. So we get that vitamin D a rocking. If you want to take a multivitamin, I don't blame you. I'm on it. Will it help? I don't know. Can it hurt? Probs not. Unlikely. I'm just covering my bases. Is it replacing healthy food and fruit and vegetables? Never. Have I ever recommended that? No. Is that ever been a good idea? No. Has it always been okay to take a multivitamin? Yes. I'd recommend now, if you've got a £5 or a £10 spare, you can pick one up nice and cheap. It's
worth it. Very much worth it.
It's going to help you more than stocking toilet roll.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll say that for fucking sure. Apart from that, I suppose we could recommend a protein intake supplement, like for example chicken. People are struggling to get different meats and stuff in different places. Different
Shelves are low.
Yeah, are sold out a little bit on different things. Frozen meats are still good, even though maybe not quite as nice, but we can do what we can do with at this minute in time. But a protein supplement, they're still available online, and that'd be good for keeping up a good high rocking protein intake, wouldn't it? And then
nuts are on the shelf. For some reason they haven't seemed to have gone yet. So I've been buying lots of nuts.
Nuts are actually protein, good healthy fats, zinc and selenium. You know, those things that I was saying that everybody's like,
exactly.
Oh, technically, that's all.
I'm smashing these because I move a lot and I burn a lot. So for me, the calorie content of nuts isn't really much of a concern, but could be for a lot of people. So I've only had today a banana, an apple, 500 grams, 50 grams of cashews and 50 grams of almonds.
Okay.
So
you're trying to keep your calories up without just eating junk.
Without eating junk.
Great.
Yeah, without eating junk. I've scrapped meat in my first meal of the day. I'm just having that, and then meat and veg for my second meal of the day, and then about the same as well for dinner. Yeah, that's about it.
That's good. That's great. That's what we need.
All the things we're talking about.
So, all right, back on again. A little bit of a technical difficulty with the camera, and we had a nice just opportunity to squeeze in a quick coffee break.
Example.
There,
beverage.
I was just about to do this and say, so my top tips for keeping nutrition on top form and quality is: number 1, calories, not too many or too little. Number 2, keep that protein intake up there and high and rocking. Regardless of who you are, vegetarian, vegan, omnivore, anybody, keep it up there. Vitamins and minerals, keep those up there, and then supplementation, a little bit of that on top as well, can't hurt.
Deal.
Vitamin D, super, super important. Second tip then, overall moving on to my second top tip, is keeping step count high. Activity levels are going to be reduced a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah.
Gyms have shut, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah. Your total
People are
calories,
working from home.
Expenditure in a day will go down. You're going to have to either match that or bring it back up with more movement. So yeah.
Match that in what way? You mean bring calories down?
So you're going to have to match it by bringing your calories down, assuming that you're not trying to put weight on.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have to bang your expenditure back up to what it was before by moving more, by going on walks, which again we can do. You've got to bear in mind that the
outside's corona free.
It's fine.
It's a corona free zone.
Yeah, it's not like it's knocking about in birds and they're just dropping it off wherever they want.
No, the birds are still chirping outside.
They're fine.
It's a weekend. The sun's shining.
It's still Saturday.
I made a video yesterday. Yeah, exactly. I made a video yesterday saying actually, in the real world, we know if things were ticking along, it's actually Friday, and it's actually a nice sunny day, and there's blossoms on the trees and springs in the air. And
if we weren't all just paranoid.
And a little bit preoccupied, but we can still get out there, and we can get out there for a walk, and this helps in a number of different ways. It keeps step count and activity levels up, like you said. Step counts burns more calories than anything else overall. A good step count can burn 300 calories every single day. This helps you control weight. It helps you little snacks and takeaways or two not have too big of an impact. Overall, it helps and keeps our health and fitness up. Also our mental health as well.
Oh yeah.
Get outside, take a little break from being in the same four walls, maybe. We can't go visit people as much, but we can change our environment and we can change our habitat a little bit. We can get out there, like you said, the birds can't catch corona. So the birds are still chirping, the sun's still shining. We can get out there, we can get out there for a walk. I've been stressed, and you know me, I'm a steady Sally, but I've been a little bit stressed about the old corona as well, and supporting a lot of my members through it, and the positivity inside my 6 Steps to Slim group has been fucking
I can
amazing.
imagine, yeah.
It's been amazing, just back and forth, and a lot of people have been employing this tool of going out there for a walk, and they've been finding massive de-stressing from this, as well as not only physical benefits, but also de-stressing. Away from the news a little bit, away from social media a little bit, listen to us on YouTube here,
Switch
while
off,
you're out
do
there for a
something,
walk. Well, get it on audio.
Like you were saying, the internet's the only thing left. There's the content out there is tenfold at the minute. Bang something on.
Social support's what we've got.
Wicked.
Get up, get out there. We can still move. We should still move. Government recommendations are not to become unhealthy and unhappy. They are to keep up, keep moving, do what you can. Step count it's always been my second most important tool for fat loss and control anyway. On the 6 Step to Slim, the first one is calorie control or food control overall. The second one has been movement anyway, starting off with a good step count and then supporting with a home workout. Things are changing.
Again, it seems like it's an excuse now not to move more because I'm stuck inside. Unless you actually have it yourself, no, you're not. You can go out, you just don't have to talk to people. People are just sort of clinging to any little bit of excuse that they can here and there. Just scrap that, you can go and do things, you're fine.
Maybe overall they are, but hopefully not these people listening to this podcast right here with us, not my 6 Steps to Slim members, not your clients. We were talking about what you're, when we were just making a little coffee in the break in the podcast, we were talking about what you're going to be doing with your clients, and it's absolutely phenomenal what you've got planned with your clients. I'm really proud of you for that. They're going to be really happy with it, and like you said, interestingly, in some ways they might end up with a better workout in some ways than they even had inside the gym when you're on those outside workouts with people that you've got planned, and that's absolutely great. So it's not about focusing on what we can't do, it's about focusing on what we can do, isn't it? And keeping step count up's always been top level importance, but now it's good for mental health and physical health as well at the same. Tip number 3 then, this is what I want your help with, is going to be home workouts. I am not top guy on home workouts. This is not my area of expertise, so I've brought in the expert PT.
It is now because you've heard the same story twice already.
We have done this podcast, yes, before.
Twice.
And I just want to hear from you and for the listeners at home as well. Top tips for home workouts. What should we be aiming for? What should we be focusing on? Couple of exercises for each area of the body so that we can do a nice full well-rounded home workout. So some tips on what we should be doing, some principle work maybe. There, a couple of tips for each area of the body, and then maybe I can see you've got a bag of bands of tricks there.
All the things. Many things.
About 11 bands I can see.
Yeah.
So then maybe a couple of demonstrations too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what you're going to be able to pull out of your bag of tricks or what we can do here, but I don't expect it to be amazing. I know we're just in the middle of a podcast, but let's see what we can do.
No, like you said, there's an overriding sort of principle behind training that we usually can get away with and do in the gym, and it's usually quite specific to the gym. The sort of rules that you see behind most exercise plans and routines they're specific to the gym and they revolve around that. But the principles need to be adapted a little bit to be more inclusive of at-home training. The biggest thing that's changed, obviously, well, there's a few things. You don't have the luxury of lifting heavier weights, so you might not be able to stick in certain rep ranges. I'll explain in a moment. And also the variation of exercise has gone down drastically. In a gym, the amount of things that you can do is, I know a million exercises and there'll be a million more after that I don't even know. So there's a few things that you have to work around and work to your advantage of.
So we have to do a few adaptations because we've got less access to big weights and we've got less access to a large variety of equipment and exercises, so we have to make a few adaptations. That's what you're saying. That makes perfect sense.
One of the biggest things, let me see if I can articulate this because it's quite weird as a principle, and that's that in the gym, most of the work that we do exists in a 6 to 15 rep range. That's what you do for most of your exercises.
That's how many reps you do per set?
Yeah.
Okay.
Simply because it's practical. Any less than 6 and you're just gonna have to be there for a long time, rest a long time, do more sets, and perhaps if you're not good at the exercise, maybe risk injury or something. Not
going to be a bit grindy on the joints as well, isn't it? Lifting heavy, yeah, it can be a bit dangerous.
Any more than 15, and you're not going to elicit any better results. It's just going to take more time, and it's just going to tire you out more, and it's going to be a little bit pointless. So as a general rule of thumb, 6 to 15 is a nice rep range to be training in. Now, what we do at the gym is we look at our program and we say, all right, I've got 3 sets of 10 of this. You warm up and you trial and error until it might take a week or two until you found a weight that you can do for 3 sets of 10. But not just do in a challenging way. It is actually hard. It does push your body. It is the correct amount of what we call mechanical tension on the body. So that
stress on the muscle.
Yeah, so you've got something to respond to and adapt from. And what we're looking for, if you're doing 3 sets of 10, we're looking to pick a weight that means that by the time you've finished your 3rd set, you've gone more or less to failure. Failure, mechanical failure, is when your body just decides that's it, game over, you're done. Of a specific exercise. So not your head, not your mind, and that's where most people go wrong.
All right.
Actually, they've done studies on this where they took 20 blokes and regular trainees, just averagely though, they banged them on bench and said, right chaps, pick a weight that you would usually do.
By banged them on bench, you mean put them on bench press?
Yes, that's the ticket, sir.
Yeah, yes.
And they said, lads, pick a weight that you would usually do 10s with, sets of 10, and AMRAP it as many reps as possible. Do as many as you can. Every time you get back to the top, even if you don't think you can go again, come back down. And the average number was 15, the max was 20, and the lowest was 12. So no one was working at their capacity.
So everybody can do more than they think they can?
Averagely, people were doing 5 reps less than they thought they could all the time. Yeah, no other way around.
Okay, yeah.
And in the worst case scenario, people were doing literally 50% workload of what their bodies could handle.
So they were stopping with their mind before they were stopping with their
basically.
body. And you're saying the principle of failure...
Failure is stopping at that mechanical tension. Nothing to do with your mentality.
Not when you want
you're
to stop.
Done, yeah.
When you actually can't physically do another.
And the reason for this, it's not just the no pain, no gain, no discomfort, no expansion.
Okay.
it's a thing going on at the minute. It's not just that. It's your studies have shown that if you've got more than 5 reps in reserve, so if you're stopping at 10 when you could have done 15, no stimulus, nothing to your body. That's done nothing other than warm up your muscles. That's done nothing other than elevate your heart rate.
Burn a few calories, added on some workload, but in terms
again,
of muscle
if we're
building,
looking at why you're training, why you're lifting weights, it's a crap tool for burning calories. We've just discussed calorie control, up and down, in and out.
Okay,
that's your tool for looking after that fat loss.
All right, wait a second then. So I see what you're saying. This is an excellent point. You're saying we shouldn't be focusing on the home workout anyway for calorie burning.
No.
That's not because we should have had point number 1 was calorie control through nutrition. Point number 2 was if you do want a calorie burn, we should be on step count. Point number 3 then, why are we doing the home workout?
To build muscle, or at least maintain it.
Okay, good.
So use it for what it's good for.
Okay.
Don't put yourself in a 10 exercise circuit and then just do 3 sets of 10 of everything, because that's not going to be, it's going to feel hard, it's going to feel like you've knackered you out. But if I got you to do 30 burpees right now, you'd feel dead. Yeah. But you won't have built any muscle, you won't have accomplished anything.
No, I wouldn't have burnt any calories either. I would have burned
you'd just have
1
exerted
or 2
a lot of energy and
calories.
It'd be pointless. Yeah. So you've got to be smart, a bit reserved. You want to treat it like a workout in the gym. Do sets and reps and structure it, as it were. Okay. Try and employ progressive overload, which is the technique of writing down what you did on one session. Usually in the gym, you'd write down the weight, the sets, and the reps that you did, and then next time try and beat that. That means that you're progressing. Mm-hmm. And that means even if you are starting a bit sub-maximally and you're stopping when you think you've hit mechanical tension but you haven't, even if you are doing that to start with, if you're trying to progressively overload, you might work for a month without actually changing your body, but after that month you're progressively overloaded to be working in a rep range that is actually hard for you. So
progressively overload being making it harder each time.
Yeah.
And then...
So usually in the gym, the metrics that you would use to make it harder is do more sets, do more reps, lift more weight, and you'd usually just cycle between them. Spend a couple of weeks building reps, then build weight, the reps come down, build up again, and just keep doing that. Mm-hmm. We don't have the luxury of lifting heavy weights at home unless you've got a home gym, sorry. So we need to figure out ways to progressively overload without the luxury of weight.
Yeah.
So for the most part, it's going to be volume doing more.
Keep making it harder without adding more weight. So we're going to be doing more and more reps.
Exactly.
Okay.
And there's no cap on these reps at the minute. There's no ceiling on them because we're looking for the principle of failure rather than a specific number. If you're scrolling through Instagram and someone said do 3 sets of 10 push-ups, you're lighter than me and pretty strong on pushing stuff, so you're going to be able to probably do like double the amount of push-ups that I can do.
Okay.
So if we both did 10, that might be half of my work capacity, but it might only be like a sixth of yours or something. So it's going to be a lot harder for me than it is you.
And that's not what we're looking for.
That's not what
we're
we're
both looking for to do as hard as we can.
We're both trying to actually progress and build muscle.
So this is making sense. Thank you. So you're saying it's not about how many reps we do; it's about how hard we try, and we should be trying as hard as we physically can, not as hard as we want to.
Yeah.
All right, good. So these are the principles of training. We're not looking to burn major calories.
Yeah. These are the umbrella things that are encapsulating every exercise that we'll go through in a bit, all the specifics. These are the ways that you will employ them and actually use them when you're training them, because if
these are the principles behind the method.
Yeah, if you just go through Instagram and see all the do 3 sets of 10, do 3 sets of 20, and then every now and then they'll throw in do 3 sets of 30 just because of something different.
Okay.
That's the sexy way to sell it. And then people will do 30, they'll feel maybe a little bit of pain and go, oh, you're really good now, it's hurt. And yeah, it might have hurt, it might have warmed you up, but who's to know that some chap in California that's designed a fine workout and put it on 30 reps, who's to know that that is your relative fatigue, that is where you need to be? And per exercise as well, like push-ups, I might be able to bang out 30. One-legged pistol squats, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to get like 5 of those and be done.
I don't know if I can do that either.
Exactly. So you're going to have to work to each exercise, you're going to have to work to your relative levels of failure. You can't be taking notes from other people. You're going to have to just...
So there's no real recommendation for how many sets and reps we should be doing?
Other than volume wants to be up. So the amount of sets that you're doing per exercise is probably going to have to increase.
Because each one's not as hard, is that why?
Because that and the variation as well. So if you were training chest in the gym, you might go 3 sets of bench, 3 sets of incline dumbbell, 3 sets of dips. Total volume on the chest would be 9 sets.
Or legs, you might do leg press, you might do some squats with a bar.
Leg extension for your quads.
But you can't at home.
3 sets there. You don't have that luxury.
Yes, okay.
There will most likely be an overriding, for whatever reason, best exercise per muscle group that you can do at home because you're limited. There's probably going to be one.
So do you have a top recommended exercise for each muscle group for us that we can do at home, Will?
Maybe.
Do you really? Because that'd be great.
Yeah, of course.
All right,
yeah, we'll get there.
Couple of different exercises for each muscle.
And literally what I would recommend is just doing them on repeat, focusing on getting better at them and focusing on getting good at them. The better you are at an exercise, as in skill-wise, the stronger you have the capabilities of getting good at it. You've got much better tools to do it. So I just recommend doing more of it.
So pick the best things and just use those.
Push-ups is going to be probably the best chest exercise that you can do at home. So don't limit it to 3 sets, do 10.
Okay.
Because you can't go to incline dumbbell and then to dips. All you need to do, take those 9 sets that you would do in the gym across 3 different exercises, you just need to do the same volume on one exercise, because those individual exercises in the gym, bar 5 degrees either way, don't really have any mechanical difference. It's just slightly different stimuluses, but only by 5%. It still just trains your chest. Everyone's like top chest, lower chest, mid chest. Your chest, you have fibers, they're all separate. You don't have a separation of top, middle and lower. You can't contract your upper chest and not your lower chest. All you can do is train chest and put 5% emphasis on one thing or the other. We're not doing that at home. We especially perhaps the audience here, even if you were a bodybuilder at home and you were trying to do this, you probably wouldn't even be looking to do that, but just because we can't right now focus on the specifics. You just train the whole thing as hard as you can.
Just do what you can do, pick the best things.
Pick the best thing and just do it as much as possible.
Just blast the best.
Which leads on to the last thing, which is the frequency per week needs to go up. So...
Of what?
Of the how often you're training.
All the training?
Yeah, just
the training.
Just like 3 times a week full body or something would be nice.
Okay.
It'd be really good.
Okay. What if I'm already doing 3 times a week full body?
Well, then you
carry on, or do 5, or what we're saying?
No, probably just do similar, because you'd be conditioned to doing 3 times a week full body, but that's assuming that your volume per session in the gym is decreased because you're doing more often. So you're not doing, 10 to 15 sets of chest per session in the gym because you're doing it 3 times a week, aren't you?
Okay, yeah.
So you're probably coming from a similar place in the gym that most people are, in that even though you're doing more, you're still similarly conditioned. You're not like overly conditioned just because you've done it more and more and more, because you've still spread the workload out over the week. So you training upper body 3 times a week versus me training twice a week, I just have more condensed sessions. I'll just
do more per
I'll
session
take
than
that
me,
third
probably.
session that you have and split it and put it in the other 2.
Assuming we've both got equally good training programs.
Assuming we're both training smart, which if you're listening to us, you will be.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
All right, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it doesn't really matter where you've come from in the gym. If you're bringing it back to a home training, it'll be the same for most people, assuming you're training smart in the gym. Make sense?
Yeah. So your frequency up was your last point there.
Yeah, so just bang the frequency up because your recovery is going to be so much better. If you're working in rep ranges upwards of like 30 because it's such an easy exercise, how stressful is that on the body? Not nearly as much as if you're doing something 6 times. If something is hard enough that you can only do it 6 times,
Oh, I was going to say thank you.
That's very
Thank you for
hard.
continuing with the explanation, because inherently that doesn't make sense. You said doing something 6 times is harder than doing something 30 times. Inherently, that makes no sense.
But if the relative load makes
But
it...
you mean if something's so hard you can only do it 6 times, or something's so hard you can do it 30 times, then that thing's a lot easier.
So it's a lot less stress on your body.
Interesting caveat and point.
Yeah. It's like throwing a cannonball versus a tennis ball. One's a lot more demanding, isn't it? So
I could do less cannonball throws than tennis ball throws.
So
lovely analogy.
How knackered and messed up is your shoulder going to be the day after throwing cannonballs around versus a tennis ball?
Yes.
How long are you going to have to wait before you can throw that cannonball again?
Yes.
Versus every day take your dog for a walk and chuck a tennis ball.
Yes.
Makes sense?
It makes
Your
perfect
recovery's
sense.
through the roof, you can do a lot more, so I'm afraid
And we're at
you
home,
have
we
to
might
do
have
a lot
we
more.
might have a bit more time, hopefully.
Because that's the thing, is you can't only... You can't just get away with doing more, you have to do more.
Okay.
That's just the way it'll work.
If you want to maintain what muscle mass you've got.
Maintain, yeah.
And if you're a beginner, then you can make some great progress on these exercises.
And if you've got things, we'll move on to a bit more specifics now.
Yeah, please.
Like bands.
Are you going to give us a few examples?
I'm going to give you
That'd
all the
be
examples.
amazing,
Yeah,
thank
we're
you.
going to go through some fun stuff. Now you can do quite a bit of training at home without any kit. I would, however, recommend getting a band, at the minimum this kind of thing. It's called a resistance band. You can probably just find it on Amazon quite simply. They're still not quite sold out, you've said.
I don't think resistance bands are sold out, yeah.
Fingers crossed, lads, because this opens up your options a lot more. The things that you will struggle to train at home is anything pull related, so anything back and like hamstring related.
Yeah.
And you don't want to miss out on that. You'll struggle without this kind of stuff. So if you can get a band, that'd be awesome. That's going to be a bit of an integral part of the things we're going to be doing. But let's just move back for a minute first and go from the upper body down if we're looking at upper body push.
Excellent.
Yeah? So we're going to mimic a bench press with a push-up. Now, if you're strong enough...
Why would we be mimicking a bench press?
Just because I'm reverse engineering from what you would do in the gym.
So that's the best thing that you would do in the gym, but we're going to try and adapt to...
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So
Right,
a push-up just as it goes on the floor.
Sorry, I'm just asking you questions just to try and get
No, do it.
a
It's
little
a
bit
good
of
idea.
information
No,
out of
we want to
what
do
we're
that.
doing and why we're doing it.
Push up on the floor, this position, down till your chest touches the floor, and back up.
Yes.
Easy peasy. That's a really nice movement for your chest, your front of your shoulders, your triceps. You've got quite a lot going on there. It's a big movement. It trains a lot at once.
Can I put you on the spot?
Yeah.
Show us a regression, an easier version for somebody who can't do that.
Shorten the leverage, so come from your feet down to your knees. Now you've got more weight going through your knees than your hands, and therefore it's easier. Or second to that, if you've got a table this kind of height and you were doing a push-up on there, that's going to shift more weight onto your feet than your arms.
Could you
and
show
the
us
higher
a harder
you come,
version? Sorry for
a harder version, taking more weight onto your hands.
Oh, I didn't expect you to do that!
Taking more weight onto your hands, and I mean, if we're really going for it.
Oh yes! And I interrupted you on a very important point there, and I sincerely apologise. But you were about to explain that the higher you make the press up, the easier it is.
Yeah.
So somebody could start. Ooh, I'm trapped in on the wire nearly. Somebody could start on something this high. I'm not going to do it on the bookcase, but so like this, and then you could go lower.
You got to sit your little suckers out like that.
And then that's good technique, isn't it?
Like this.
I'm trying to imagine that I'm getting on.
You
the
look like a
correct-
mime. You're like.
I'm trying to imagine that I'm getting on the correct angle.
But yes, inherently that's going to make it easier. And I would recommend elevating yourself sooner than just popping your knees on the floor, just because then it's the exact same movement as a push-up. You're still mimicking the same movement.
You'd
rather
recommend
than changing
people,
the
rather than
exercise.
doing knee press-ups, do angled press-ups.
Yeah. So
Lovely.
that chair would be the next call.
Lovely.
Something the size of this would be the next one, maybe a table, then your kitchen side, and everyone should be able to do it
Yep.
up there, I'd say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there a banded press up you could do?
Yeah, so if you wanted to make it harder, you could, this is always tricky to set up, set it into one hand and then pop it around your back and get it in your other hand. And then you've got...
Okay, so you've got it like you're holding a
created-
backpack on.
Yeah.
Like as if you were...
Like
yeah, that's
braces.
it, yeah.
How good am I looking?
Yeah.
And I've got a little
Yeah.
figure 8 going on my back, so it's not going to slip off at all.
Oh, you did that on purpose? You
Yeah,
twist
so
the
it's
band
not, yeah, so it's not going to slip off.
Yeah.
Then if I straighten my arm,
Ooh.
if I straighten my arms here, bring them in front of me, and then lower down onto the floor,
Yeah.
now I've got resistance trying to pull me to the floor.
And then oosh on the way back up.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
If I wanted to make that harder, I could get a heavier band and do
Uh-oh.
the same thing with that. Another thing you can do to make exercises harder is tie knots in them. So if I were to do
Ooh.
this,
Yeah.
that makes it shorter, and then immediately there's more tension
That
in
is
it.
an excellent idea.
And
that
now I
didn't
do the same
realise.
thing with this. That's already harder now, there's more tension pulling me down.
Is it?
And
That's
that's
an
got
excellent
harder.
idea I didn't
Yeah.
realise.
So you've got ways of making it harder like that. Then we can get a bit more specific. So far, we've talked about using the metric of doing more volume per set, per session, to make things harder. One thing you could do, if you're really good at an exercise, as in you're doing in excess of like 40 reps a set, you might find that a limiting factor is your cardiovascular capabilities, or just your sheer concentration might go before your actual mechanical...
Sheer concentration.
Yeah.
You'll just get bored.
Fuck this is where you'll get to.
Yeah.
That's not legit if we're looking for failure. So you could start programming off different metrics, but it needs to be consistent. So say if you were doing like a 5-second eccentric, the negative part of a push-up, that's going to make it harder. If I'm doing this, it's a lot harder than if I was just coming up and down real fast.
Yes.
But that only works if it's a constant variable being
Yeah,
carried
so-
forward into each session. It's the same reason why we touch our chest on bench, why we go to depth in a squat. It's so that we've got a constant variable that's very easy to measure. If I stopped an inch off my chest with bench, that's fine. It doesn't really make much of a difference to my chest musculature. But then next time I come in and I put the same weight on the bar and I get 3 more reps, who knows if I've been an inch off my chest or 2 inches off my chest. You can't measure that really. So I might be getting better, but only because I've made the movement easier rather than getting stronger, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because the bench press might only move 20 inch, so if you take off 1, you've lost 5%. So you made it
Exactly.
5% easier. So
Exactly.
you've not got better, you've made your technique worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're saying we can program off different variables that aren't just doing more, as long as we're careful to keep it consistent.
Exactly, yeah. So less rest time, but again, you've got to be on top of that. You could do slower tempo in an individual movement. You could, yeah, I mean, things like that. It's a really good way of doing it. You can think, lastly, is that the more complicated one is mind-muscle connection. So it's not something I can really demonstrate because it's an internal. So all the things that I've said so far, what we call external cues, slow it down, have less rest, external. An internal cue would be tense your bicep. There you go, for the viewers at home. Now, there is actually quite a bit of studies shown behind just doing like non-resisted training, just flexing your arm.
Pretending to curl.
Literally tensing as hard as you can.
Tensing.
It's not
like
perfect.
Tai Chi.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it's still tensile stress on the muscle. Now,
So it's better than nothing.
yeah, the research behind that was just to see, like, you could do more than just tense. So
Yeah.
don't just sit there doing that. But if you can apply that to the movement,
Oh, so if you tense while you're doing the movements. Okay,
exactly. So
okay.
if I were doing, say, quite an applicable one that you could do it with is like a hip thrust and squeeze your bum at the top. I could be
Yes.
very lazy with how I use my glutes at the top of a hip thrust, or I could think about it, and it's one thing that's really hard to teach clients and make it as hard as possible
Takes a lot
for
of
yourself.
practice, yeah.
Takes a lot of practice and willpower, because your brain does not like choosing the path of least resistance. If you're doing something and it hurts, your body will go, no, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop being a dickhead. It's like if I was banging my head against the wall, my conscience would tell me to stop because it hurts.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing with this. You've just got to know that it's actually good for you and keep going.
So squeeze
and make
your
it
muscles,
as hard as possible as you can.
go all the way up,
Yeah.
all the way down. Yep, you can go slower, you can add pauses on. There's lots of
Exactly.
different extra techniques you can start
So
to
long as
use.
you monitor it, you maintain it session to session, it's a constant variable. You've made it part, just like how touching your chest is in a bench, hitting depth is down to here in a squat. It's a constant variable. You're not changing it session by session, so that you've got it as a foundation that you can then build off of and progressively overload off of and try and do better off of. Progressively overloading just being doing more, if that makes sense.
Phenomenal. So on the summary, what we've got so far is we've got less weights, we've got less options to use different exercises. So we want to pick a couple of best things for each movement, whether we've got weights or bands or not. And then we want to hammer those to failure, which is doing as many as you can. Do a couple of sets of nearly as many as you can, and then 1 or 2 sets of as many as you can.
Yeah.
We want to be doing every muscle a couple of times per week to keep ourselves fit and healthy and strong overall.
High frequency.
And our recovery will be better, yeah, because the exercises are a little bit smaller and easier rather than big heavy weights ones. And then we're aiming to do more reps most of the time, just reps, writing down how many reps you can do.
To the principle of failure.
Yeah, and then adding more and more and more. And then there are a couple of other variables we can start to work with as well if we start to get bored or we start to get past that a little bit. Is that a correct?
Good summary.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice.
You think I've got it all
Yeah,
across?
like you touched on it then, the last step just being record it very, very religiously. Just make sure that you know how you've done a movement, the tempo. If you're programming the rest, you're being smart about it so that you can carry that over into the next workout. So it's not just willy-nilly, because if you're doing it willy-nilly, what you'll do again is you'll just end up elevating your heart rate and burning some shit calories. Like, it's not really going to do much. Whereas if you can focus on actually progressing the muscle, then that's all gravy.
So work with what we can work with, and one of the things we can control is quite specific, that we are actually making progress. Even if we don't have the option to do loads of exercises, we can still
progressive,
make progress. Yeah, all right, that's absolutely excellent. One of that's the correct principle, not just for training but for all of life. One of my favourite phrases that I use in my lectures sometimes, and it's a business phrase, not a nutrition or fitness phrase. It's what gets measured gets managed. And it's just about the more you pay attention to something, the easier it is to keep on top of it and control it.
Look after the pennies and the pounds, or look after themselves, kind of thing.
Similar
There you
analogy.
go.
Yeah. So
I like that a lot.
measuring
Very good.
on your progress and tracking what you're doing. This will give you some fulfillment as well, to know that you're doing some of the right things, and you'll get some motivation from it to see in front of your eyes that you're progressing.
Well, that's another way of actually interesting. This is something that isn't changed between this and the gym. Where when I'm with my clients in the gym, that's all we're doing is that and same thing. Even though we do have the variation in the gym of picking different exercises, what I usually do is assign 2 maybe exercises to a client to focus on getting really good at, and they'll be related to either movements they want to get strong at, so a pull-up or a push-up maybe, or a bench or a squat, or a muscle group that they want to progress, so a hip thrust or something. And all we'll try and do is focus on getting good at those movements by using these principles, writing down the weight, the reps and the sets, and then trying to do more next time. And yeah, it might take half a year before you see like big glute differences, big glute gains, but if you know that you're, after 2 months, hip thrusting double what you were to start with, you know you've progressed, and it's really exciting. And if you're programming off of such strict metrics like touching your chest to the floor of a push-up, coming all the way back up to the top.
If you're on your knees, every
Same
time.
with bench, every time. You're not cheating, and you get 1 more next week than you did this week. You know it's because you've progressed and you've gotten stronger, not because you're cheating. That shit's exciting.
Well, if you only do 5 and then you do 1 more next time, that's 20% more.
Boom.
You're on rock and roll in power.
Exactly.
You're doing great.
Because people are always like, well, it's only 1 more. But yeah, if you're working the first time you get a push-up, and then
The
you
next
do
one's
1 more,
doubled.
you've done 100% more workload.
That's like me benching 80 and then you putting 160 on it. I'd be like, bro, no thank you.
Exactly.
Are you trying to
It's
kill
awesome.
me? That'd be ridiculous.
And also, 1 is just the smallest metric that we can work with. It's the smallest increment we can do. So it doesn't mean you haven't progressed if you don't get 1 more.
Correct.
It just means that you haven't progressed by 1. It'll happen at some point.
Correct.
Yeah.
Another great
Assuming other variables are static, like your protein intake, your calories are similar, so you're not getting heavier. You're not trying to get better at body weight movements as you're getting heavier.
things like that are important. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So for upper body, you push. I'd say push up is a really good one.
So let's go through one or two good exercises for each area of the body then, possibly with a couple of demonstrations. We've gone through push-up.
You got it back.
That's for the chest and shoulders.
Yeah.
Backs of the arms as well.
A little bit.
Little toner, good. All right.
If we move on to the back a little bit.
Yeah, back exercises.
One of the best
This
ones.
is the one that you said you struggle with.
Yeah, because it's pulling things and you can't really do that at home that much.
Unless you've got weights or something.
Unless you've got
Well, here we
actual
go.
equipment, yeah. So we're going to
Like
find
a
an
chair.
anchor point, like a fat lad like you.
Like an antique chair.
Like an antique chair that I'm going to ruin. Yeah, perfect.
All right.
Then you're going to sit on the floor. You're going to puff your spine out. I like to do this with my feet nice and wide. Puff my spine out, and then I'm going to row in to the side. Now, if you've done this movement at the gym, it's called a seated row.
Yeah.
I'm squeezing my back as hard as I can. That moves into the same point I was saying earlier about thinking about it. I could do this movement like this.
Oh, yeah.
How uninspired and shit do I look right now?
Yeah, okay.
My back's all rounded and shit. Everything on your back is involved in extension, so you want to pull yourself into that position and hold it there. Now the squeeze I can get fenomenal. However, this is a little bit easy. So if I put that band in that hand and just do one-handed, all of a sudden that's an actual back workout.
Is it?
Again, if let's pretend I was real strong and this was still easy, I'd just hold for 3 seconds and then back down slowly, stretch, and then again, or I'll shuffle further backwards. And go from there.
All right. So you can move further back. That adds more resistance onto the band as well.
Of course.
All right.
Move further back, double it up, tie a knot in it, get a heavier band. These kind of things.
Yeah.
Another really nice one that's of a similar sort of vein is a seated. No, that's what I'm talking about. A face pull. So you can do this seated as well. This position.
Yeah.
Bit of tension on the middle of the band that engages your rear delts. Then fire it to your forehead.
And
That's
this
quite
is
nice.
your upper body postural correction. And
very
when
nice.
we're working at home, we might be a bit tight in the chest.
I do this in the gym
shoulders.
when I've got the option of doing
Even
weights.
with the band, you mean?
Yeah. You could do that like that. You could do it in a kneeling position like this.
Yeah.
If you wanted to make it more shoulder dominant, you could just do like a front raise like this.
Excellent idea.
You could do an upright row like this.
I like that. Okay, so that's all shoulder posture helping blasting.
Yeah, that's all good because
that's really good.
you can't really do much lat raises at home. Even with a band, it's quite tricky to do this kind of a movement.
Okay.
Unless the only option I've come across with
You did the upright row.
is that, but even that's quite a lot of resistance.
Is it hard?
It's quite hard, yeah.
You could get a thin band though, maybe.
Yeah, so a thinner band, that could work.
Okay.
Or if I take a bit of tension out of this, make it harder, upright row, similar movement, quite a bit easier, so that works quite nicely.
Very nice.
And then what you've done there, everything's been a horizontal pull so far. If you can attach a band to a banister above you, sit down and then do the same thing but in a vertical pulling movement, you're simulating a pull-up.
So you're pulling the band straight down.
So it's attached above, dangling, and then I'm pulling it down to my side.
Excellent.
Work quite nicely, yeah.
Excellent move.
And then the last thing that you'd really struggle to train without a band or something is going to be your hamstrings. So one thing that I would recommend highly would be same position, attaching it to an anchor point here, and then popping your heels inside it. Oh dear, we're losing the mic. Popping your heels inside it.
Yes.
Lying on your front.
Oh, here we go.
And then shooting it up behind you and squeezing your hamstrings. No, that's really easy. You see there's no tension on it.
Yeah.
So I would shuffle further this way.
Okay, away.
Yeah. Or go one-legged.
Oh, singles.
Or tie a knot in it, or double it up. Any one of the variations of making it harder, like I've said before.
Lovely. So upper body, we've got press-ups and variations, excellent for chest and shoulders and stuff. You showed us a row we can do, very nice. If you've got a dumbbell at home, you can do a single, like a bent over row or something. But even with a band, you can do a double or a single row. I really liked that face pull.
Yeah, nice.
One you showed.
If you are a bro and you wanted to do more upper body stuff, you could do like a one-arm chest fly. So if I come all the way out here, that's actually a really nice contraction.
Is it?
Yeah.
I like that
Try that.
idea.
Try that.
Right. Trade me over then. You be in chair. I'll be on chest.
With my coffee. Lovely.
Here we go. Here we go.
So if we go here, I'd pop your other foot up as a counterbalance, put it quite wide
This
over
one or
there.
that one?
Yeah, your right hand one. Yeah, good.
Push.
So you can't go anywhere.
And then
start with this hand down here, and then just scoop over. How easy is that to squeeze there now? And again, Connor's got quite a bit of muscle on him, so he's quite good at squeezing it. He's got those internal cues as well as external cues.
But either way, you
But it's
can't
hard.
do that movement without using your chest, even if you're not thinking about
But it's
it.
hard.
So good, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
That's actually nice. Yeah, thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Are we going back into our own little zones?
Yeah, we shall.
Cool.
So we've gone through some upper body. That's really nice. What about some arms? Can we do some arms?
Yeah, absolutely. So
All right.
anchored like this is, again, just dead simple. We're going. So splitting the arms up, you've got your biceps, they curl,
yeah.
and your triceps, they
Yeah.
extend. So that's what we're trying to do, basically.
This is all with one band.
I know.
This is great.
And the thing is, even with
And
just
you showed
one
me
band,
hard exercises. As
even
well,
with
yeah.
just one band, you can generally make things hard enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when you
And if you had a couple of
encounter the
strength ones,
facts.
like that purple one, that looks scary.
Oh god, what about that orange one?
Oh no no no! Oh no 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 no! I don't know what.
Wait,
this
what are you
is
doing
for,
with that?
Will. I don't know what you're doing this for. I don't know why it's dirty or what you've been doing with that band, my boy.
It's been places. But yeah, with the options of making the bands harder and also the option of doing more reps, you can more or less cover everything. But say biceps, I'm here, curling to my forehead. That's a real nice squeeze. That works. If that's too hard,
Work on your forearm.
like this, exactly. If it's too easy, bring it out, do it. Ooh. The other way, with it being halved like this, all of a sudden, that's real hard. That's going to break the chair before it is my biceps.
Don't do that, please. Careful.
One of my favourite tricep movements, regardless of whether we're in a gym or not, is a banded skull crusher. I'll have you try this in a moment. Because it's genuinely the best contraction I've ever felt on my triceps.
All right.
You're coming down, you're holding it like this is probably a really nice way to do it. From there, start with your elbows near your hands near your ears, your elbows tucked, and then extend up towards the ceiling. Now, because of that tension pulling my arm backwards, the amount that's firing up on my tricep, you can't see my triceps.
The backs of the arms are getting blasted.
Exactly. And you can't see it getting tensed on mine because I'm wearing a top and I don't have triceps. But I'll have you do it.
You don't have triceps.
jump
You
down
want me to
there.
try this?
Yeah, of course. Because you've got a real sexy little tooth action going on here. So we're gonna see what this is looking like.
All right.
We're gonna personal train you, sir.
Let's see.
So yeah, lie down with your head there. You're gonna grab your bands.
Yep.
And then from
Do
there,
you want to sit on the chair?
pin
or?
them here. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And then you're going to extend up towards the ceiling. You see this selection? Ooh, that's nice. And for
Let
me,
me just try it. Hold this for me.
Go further away.
1 inch.
so a bit easy for Connor. He goes further away, makes it harder. One way to make it harder. There you go. See if you can get 12 of them, and you're gonna have a
no, I don't know.
right little tricep pump on. And that is going to be genuinely one of the best tricep pumps that I've ever had. And it's with a band, it's not even with anything, so that's pretty cool. There you go, that's
This
nice.
is good,
man.
yeah. I'm wondering if I can do it like this.
Try it. Make your own adaptations. That's the other thing, is I'm only working from my experiences and what I personally think is best. Basically,
like the chest
my
as
preferences.
well.
Really,
From-
yeah.
Yeah, from holding.
So basically my preferences. So if you can figure out your way to do your own thing, adapt it, do what you want. That's perfect.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, that's really good.
And then you could do more things if you wanted to do more of an overhead tricep movements for the long head of your tricep.
Yeah.
Same thing here,
Back to the arm
there,
blasting, we like that.
and then here.
Ooh.
That's a really nice one.
Smart move. Okay, good.
Of course, yeah.
So there's loads of different upper body
So many.
variations
Just
we
play
can
around
do.
with it, yeah.
All right, cool. And then leg variations then, or leg exercises we can do at home. You've showed us one already. You showed us that hamstring curl.
Yes, that's nice.
And I really like that because you mentioned that at first, that's going to be one of the harder things to train.
Yeah, and luckily, all 4 of your hamstring heads cross your knee joint, where only 3 cross your hip joint. So if you were only going to skate by on one hamstring movement, it would be that.
Okay.
So if you've got a band, you can train your hamstrings. If you want to do it from a different angle, you're going to need a heavier band probably. Just take that for a moment, please, sir.
Yeah, all right.
So,
I'm going to point it at you just for effect.
thank you. This is a really heavy band, but that's because I'm going to stimulate a stiff leg deadlift, which is a really heavy movement. So if I were to stand on this now,
With the
pop it
band
on my neck, and then take that
on your neck.
all the way to the top. That's a lot of resistance now.
Okay,
I
I
push
can
my
see that's
hips
pulling down on
backwards.
your shoulder. Is that safe on your neck?
Yeah, because it's sitting on my traps.
You're sitting on your
Well, little over
shoulders.
my half, yeah.
Okay.
Big stretch at the bottom of the hamstrings,
Yeah.
up to the top and squeeze the glutes. That's going to be really phenomenal.
Face the camera and do one for me just so I can see from the side, please. Whoosh. Yes.
So here, backwards, up and squeeze.
Okay.
That's so much hamstring and glute. It's
And
really
that's training your lower back, your spine, your bum,
Yeah.
down the backs of the legs,
Yeah.
keeping good strong posture.
Yeah.
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 All right, lovely. All with a nice thick band there. If you had a thinner
Yes.
band, is there an option for doing that one leg, or is that not working?
Yes, you could do it one leg. The balance would start to become an issue. But if you were
Would
to stand on that band on one leg, stand with it on your foot, put it around your neck, and again, if you want to make that harder, tie a knot in it.
Make it shorter.
If you were to wrap it around your foot a few times, shorten the length of the band, and that's going to make it harder as well.
Interesting.
You've got options.
Interesting.
This band's probably a bit light, but you could do like a horizontal hip thrust. So if you were to step inside it, I do this in my classes in the gym, pop it on your hips here, then kneel forward, knees go wide, hips go back, up to the top and squeeze your bum.
Powerful.
And you see how that's loaded exactly how a hip thrust would be?
Yeah, when you were pushing
horizontally.
it up to the sky.
Exactly. Yep. So that works really well as well. You can just do the movements that you would do in a gym for your lower body, so like a hip thrust, except usually you might do them bilateral, so with both legs and with a weight on you, except what don't we have? Weights.
Yeah. Okay, so we need other ways to make it harder.
So if you remove one of the tools, one of the legs, and just do them unilaterally, all of a sudden you've got a genuinely hard exercise with no weight.
So that's making it twice as hard by using one leg? All right.
We'll get there. In fact, join me for a glute circuit. And this is the only time that I am actually going to do a little glute circuit. We're going to start on the floor. We're going to do...
Me?
Yeah, we're going to do 2 strictly glute exercises.
Yeah.
One's going to be more lateral glute, so the side.
Yeah.
One's going to be the main body of your glute max.
Yeah.
We're going to use those
Glute max, I like that. Glutes to the max.
We're going to use those as pre-fatiguers, which means you're going to tire them out, you're going to get a bit of a pump on, and then we're going to go into a fairly strong exercise that trains your glutes and your quads, but because we're weakened by having done the 2 pre-fatiguers, and the 2 pre-fatiguers are glutes, it means that your glutes are going to get battered even more in the 3rd exercise.
Wow.
So, jump down onto the floor.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And I'll go through all the names of these. You can just research them if you can't quite figure out what we're doing here, because they are all researchable.
Am I copying you?
Yeah, quite a bit of a bend at the knee. There you go. And to start with, you're going to have
arm.
bend at the knee, bend at the hip, and then resting on one arm with your elbow below your shoulder. Now you're going to do a few things at once. You're going to drive this knee into the floor to get your hips high. You're going to drive your hips forward into full hip extension, and also the top leg as high as possible, keeping your feet together.
What's this arm doing? It
Down.
feels like it's just like...
Being cute. I'd pop it on your hip like a little teapot.
Oh. And we're doing this facing each other, are
I
we?
could go for a cuppa.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically you need
Like
to
this?
be top and tailing.
Oh.
Yeah, perfect. And then really explosive, up and squeeze. You should have a really strong
Specifically
contraction.
top and tailing. Stop it.
You get that one. If I leave it.
Move on.
That's it. So as you come back down to the bottom, let your knees close. So you're coming down and up like this.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Opening and closing.
Oh.
And this is training your
Oh,
right
yeah.
hand side, my right hand side, glute, the one on the bottom. Okay?
Oh,
So
okay.
you do maybe,
I can feel that right on the side.
yeah, lateral,
Oh.
like I said.
Oh.
This
Okay.
is nice, isn't it? So, like I said, I don't want to harp on sets and reps of things, but let's say we do.
I can't do many of that.
So let's say we do 15 or something,
Yeah,
right?
alright. Pretend I've done 15.
Yeah, let's do 15. Then, if we come on to doing that one-legged hip thrust, so you would normally do a hip thrust like
Correct.
this. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
What we're going to do is take one of the tools, your left leg, and remove it. If you want to do an advanced
left
version,
leg.
you can just have it in the air. If you want to do
Okay.
it a little bit easier, keep it on the floor and just use 70% of the power with your right and 30 with this. Up to the top and
Oh,
squeeze.
yeah.
Yeah. I'd pop your foot a little bit further
Oh, my lower
forward.
back just did a little pop.
Pop your right foot a little bit further forward. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I could feel that a bit more in the thigh.
Because there's more knee flexion.
Now I can
There
feel
you
that
go.
more in
Yeah.
the bum. That makes
So the foot wants to be directly below the knee when you're at the top.
Oh, this is hard.
So let's say we've done 15 on the floor there. You're going to do 15 of these. Get a big glute pump on. Do another 5. Let's make this real fun for you.
Oh,
Go on. 3 more.
I'm not even pretending
more.
this is hard.
Then what you're going to do straight after that is jump up. And you're going to do a split squat on your right leg. So you're going to stand in front of a chair. Your right leg stays forward. You grip the ground with your toe. Turn your knee wide. And then take your left leg
grip.
back. Come down and touch the floor. And then do 20 reps there.
20.
And the amount of glute that this is going to be for you now. Keep going, keep going. That's very nice, very nice. And this foot's gripping the ground, this knee stays wide, that's going to keep your glutes active. This is generally a 50-50 quad and glute exercise, but because he's pre-fatigued his glutes, how much is that hurting?
Quite, sir.
Yeah, exactly. So for the ladies, if we're looking to batter your glutes, that's an awesome way to do it. That's more or less exclusively what I'm going to be doing with my clients in the car park of the gym. If, say, you want to
Because we're
make...
not allowed inside.
Yeah, basically.
I like that.
If
Work
we
with
wanted
what you
to
can work
make-
with.
Sorry?
I like that. Just work with what you can work with.
Exactly. You can be creative. If you wanted to make that movement, the split squat, more of a quad movement, which would be more orientated towards my goals because my ass is already too fat and I don't have quads. You could thank you. You could pre-fatigue your quad instead. So if I were to do a one-legged wall sit like this, same principle, 70% of the power here, this leg just sits on the floor, and just wait here until I've had a lot of build-up of pain and just fatigue in this leg, hold that for 30 seconds, then come in and do this same movement. Originally it was more of a glute movement because we'd come from doing glute exercises. Now I've come from doing a quad exercise and all of a sudden...
It's going to make the thighs burn
That's
more.
battering my quad, yeah. So you can play around and you can adapt things to make them more specific to one way or another, which is real nice. But things like your hip thrusts, one-legged versions of, hamstring curl, any kind of lunge movement, they're really good. And what I would do, rather than, like I said before, having the variation of lots of different exercises, is just do one, figure out which the best one is for you and then just focus on getting good at it.
All right, so lower body then, we've got hamstring curls and we kind of need some bands, so it's a good idea. Bands are not sold out on Amazon, so it's a good idea to get bands. Yeah. I've got a Swiss ball upstairs, so we're doing some crunches on and some abs. Exercises are still on. Crunches on the floor still effective, leg raisers. I've got this big circle exercise ball. I can put my feet on that and I can curl that in. Yeah,
that's called a Swiss ball hamstring curl.
Swiss ball
I've got a similar thing. These are called sliders. If you can find them, they work. If not, paper plates that you might use in a party work really well. All you'd probably need is rubber shoes so that it sticks nicely. It's probably not going to work that well with these. But then if I hip thrusted up off the floor and curled in towards me, my feet aren't sticking to them. Yeah. But if I curl in towards me, that's a lot of hamstring there.
Is it?
Yeah, so much.
That's got resistance.
Exactly.
Elongated syllables as well. All right, I understand.
So you've got many options.
So we've got squats.
If I were to write someone a program, my advice would be, for the upper body, push-ups, seated row with a band, lat pull down with a band, face pull and upright row. Again, if you don't catch that, rewind, Google them all, YouTube them all, whatever. That's
fantastic.
Perfect. And then any number of accessories you want to do for the chest or the arms, so tricep extensions, bicep curls.
Lovely.
And for the lower body, I'd do a leg curl with the band, a one-legged hip thrust, maybe into a split squat to make it more glute.
Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah. I did once rig up a leg extension with the band on a chair, like behind your leg, and then extending out. That's a bit tricky.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. We have got a number of thigh exercises though, can't we? Haven't we? Like if somebody can't do the split squat, you could start off with the chair or box squat, just like this. Yeah. Touch.
And you'd find that they'd quickly
move on to not kneading.
Yeah.
And then we're just here on the squats. Yeah. And then you could move on to a lunge.
Very nice.
This kind of
that's
game.
Close to being a completely one-legged exercise.
Yeah, and then you can move on to the hard version, what you gave us, right? Yeah.
You've got different progressions.
So we've got lots of thigh.
One really nice one that I do in classes sometimes is an eccentric squat. So start on your left leg and just lower yourself down till you sat down. And then rock yourself back up using that leg as help.
With that foot on the floor.
Assuming that you can't just stand up with this leg now.
Yeah.
Rock back up.
Microphone.
And back down. Ignore that.
So try not to touch the end too much. There we go, good man.
Yeah, see?
All right.
So things like that work really nicely.
Yeah, lovely. What do you think on abs? What can we do for abs? Everybody loves a bit of core work.
Something spinal flexion related, so like a crunch. And then something static related, like a
plank?
A plank.
A side plank?
So lateral core as well would be in a side plank. That would be really nice, and not just doing the anterior. A plank, making it really hard, is figuring out how to use your pelvis, your bum muscles and your ab muscles to actually make a plank hard for yourself.
The RKC plank.
I'll do this so they can see first. If I were to do a plank like this, see how that arch in my lower back? I'm just resting on the structures of my lower back there. I'm not really using, for you, Connor, my abs. As soon as I do this...
Yeah, because the vertebrae have gone like that and created...
Like a bridge, if a bridge was sagging, you see that, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
See when I do this...
Like how you'd create an archway above a door and that gives it strength.
See when I do this?
Oh yeah, you've kind
My
of
lower
popped,
back
you kind of
from
popped
here
flattened popped
to
the
here.
back out a little bit, yeah.
That makes life a lot harder for me.
Okay,
So
yeah.
actually, I'll demonstrate this on you actually. So pop down onto the floor for a second.
Which way would you like me to face?
I want you to be with your face down, just in a normal plank position.
But this way,
Yeah, this way, sorry, so
Okay,
they
yeah.
can see. I want you to be on your toes to start with, up to the top, and do a really bad plank. So let your spine arch. Right, so is this training your abs? Does this feel...
No, it feels like it's hurting my lower back
Exactly,
a little bit, and
so-
it's hard on the wrists.
Yeah, so now pop these hips up all the way. I want you to tilt your hips that way, yeah? And I want you to come onto the toes here on the floor. So now the other way around. So you're actually lying on them, look at my feet like that.
Oh.
Yeah, squeeze your bum,
Yep.
flatten this down and try and pull this together. Like you're trying to pull your feet and your arms towards each other on the floor. How much abs is that?
Way better. Easier on the shoulders and...
Yeah, so much nicer.
Wrist.
Actually using your abs.
Yeah, easier on the shoulders and wrists.
Much
but
nicer.
harder. That's why I couldn't really talk.
It's called a...
Whereas like this, it's kind of like it's not really
So
doing
much
anything.
easier.
I can just chill in this position, yeah. But when I'm in
that
position.
bum higher, get a really global arch to the spine, so there's no curve there, that's it. It's called a gymnastics hollow body plank, is when they rest here on their feet and they're just like this. That's so hard.
Yeah.
This is a normal
I've
plank.
also done some planks before where, sorry about your wire there, where it's like this,
Yeah.
and then you take a few steps back
Oh man, so much harder, yeah.
and then hold
Yeah, absolutely.
to increase the distance, like you said, on the bridge of the 2 points,
That's a good
increasing
point.
the
You could do
pressure
these
in the
with
middle.
sliders as well, you know.
Oh yeah.
If you could do like an ab rollout.
Oh, the ab rollout's not easy. If you've got an ab roller at home, you're rocking it, because that works. Ab roller.
Two rep max at
The
home.
ab roller is now on my list of home workout things because the ab roller is good.
Really good.
Yeah, really good on the lats.
So yeah, very nice on the lats.
Yeah.
If you maintain that lower back position,
Or most people are.
I could really chew myself up doing that in my lower back if I'm not being
Yeah.
conscious about it. So again, that goes back
Ab
to
roller.
making an exercise hard for yourself, not letting yourself be lazy, choosing to pick the harder way to do something. But a lot of the time,
Working with what
people
we've got.
do choose the easier way just because they don't know how to make it harder. So if you're not sure, go over to my Instagram where I'm going to be putting up loads of videos over the next few days. And
Oh, you
throughout-
really? That's great.
Of course, yeah. Throughout, I've already done one. It revolves around the internet speed and how fast we can get it up there. We'll see.
Yeah, where we are in the centre of Sheffield here,
bollocks.
that is not your fault. There's no fibre broadband, here, dead in city centre, because accordingly the council won't let BT dig the roads up to put the fibre lines in. Just what I've heard through the old grapevine, but we do
Yeah.
have really poor upload speed.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
know.
something I'm working towards, but bear with me because
So
I'm banging them out. But it's just,
So on your Instagram, which I'm going to put a link to below this video on my Facebook
figure
page,
that out, yeah.
on YouTube as well below, so people can give you a little follow on Instagram. And then what are you going to be
Really
doing
good
there
for
for
them.
us?
So I've
Going
already done
forward.
a very concise version of this, the principles of how to train, and then
Excellent.
daily I'm just going to be banging out exercises that you can do at
Home
home,
workout
just
exercises.
little creative bits and bobs that you can just do,
Yeah.
like that glute circuit. I'll put that up maybe tomorrow or something because that is probably the best thing you can do at home for your glutes.
That was really hard.
It's so hard.
Thank you so much. I am going to follow this and I'm going to use these myself and advice and principles from you.
Beautiful.
Is that what you wanted to go through then on home workouts?
Yeah, just about. Again, like the specifics here, we've got through enough, but for more in details approach, it's gonna just take time. I don't want to bang them all out here. People will lose interest and concentration. I'm going to do short videos online every day, so
On
people
the
can follow
IG.
them. Yeah, on the
I
IG.
love that, man. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. That's really, really good.
Cool.
And then my final point, just on the summary, just for literally 2 minutes, is social and online support. The government's recommendations are not to become unhealthy and unhappy. The government's recommendations are not to become lonely.
No, stay
no.
connected.
Yeah, stay connected. Stay connected with you on Instagram so that you can get some interesting. I really loved this and I've tried it and it is hard. And I do my exercises,
Yeah.
so I can vouch for the difficulty
Sound
of
like my granddad.
Yeah, but I can vouch for the
Working with it
difficulty of
today.
this because I'm not somebody who doesn't do any exercise.
No.
So I can vouch for the difficulty of what you've just shown.
In
For-
relation to normal
Yeah,
exercises,
for definite. So that's absolutely amazing. So online is what we've got now. So stick with you on Instagram. Stick with me on Facebook as well for nutrition tips and
Yeah.
more interviews. And us on YouTube, we're going to be coming back again and again, aren't we? I've got other interviews with other people coming up as well, which is going to be phenomenal. My 6 Steps to Slim members, shout out to every single one of them. I've got lots of NHS workers and you know, transport people, teachers, we've got psychologists, we've got physiotherapists, we've got personal trainers, and we've got everybody coming together to share information, share positivity.
Just a real wide
stay together. People are commenting in my group right now that they're finding the 6 Steps to Slim group and our online community even more important and even more useful than ever before. Interesting.
Idea. Sorry, keep talking.
Yeah, I will. I'll continue with my summary. You can do whatever you're going to do. And staying connected is so important. I've been booking FaceTime calls and video calls and phone calls with all of my 6 Steps to Slim members, if and when they. I can see what you're working with, though.
Mate, cables.
I can see what you're.
That'd be awesome.
I can see what you're working with. With all of my members. Anybody who wants to talk to me, please send me a message. People can contact you as well, yes?
Of course.
Yeah, we'd love to talk to you. Try and keep some positive people in your life.
Yeah,
the
it's the
news
best thing
and
you can
social
do, isn't
media
it?
can be a little bit negative at this minute in time, can't it? So
Most of the time, but now more than ever, I mean, the news is just negative right now.
so try and keep some
that's all
health and
there is.
happiness, some positivity in your life. Try and stick with us and we'll keep you healthy and strong.
Yeah.
Stay connected with us as well. Keep following us on social media. Stick with us. And we'll keep sharing that positivity around, and we'll keep trying to do what we can do in this fight. We're not NHS heroes, right? At this
Far
minute
from
in
it, they're
time.
doing phenomenal.
I know. If you work for the NHS now, you are a hero. If you're a teacher as well, but if you're frontline NHS, I swear to God,
First line of defence, the first wave, first ones over
I'm
the
so
wall.
proud of a lot of my 6 Steps to Slim members as well, because they work for the NHS and we need them. They need to be staying healthy, strong and supported. They need to be brave, they need to be steady. They're the ones that are controlling the fight, and I'm helping them stay strong, steady, motivated, healthy, good energy levels, keep their sleeping patterns well so they can look after their family. Their health won't go to shit, and they can help everybody else's health while we're at it. So I'm so proud of everyone. Thank you for listening, everybody at home. I'm so proud of you too for sticking around us in this viral atmosphere, which is a little bit unknown in known, isn't it? Thank you, Will, as always, for coming down with us.
Find us both online. Look at the advice. It's going to be going up daily. Connor's a phenomenal source of information for everything. You know that. You've come from his page, but
I appreciate you, Will. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you, sir. Let's
see you again soon. Thank you.
Micro.